Hi guys, we're just here to do a Divine Masculine reading. It's a beautiful day out here. For those who don't know me, my name is Tracy Newman and just here to do a weekly Divine Masculine reading. Of course, Divine Masculine, when I talk about the masculine, I talk about the masculine energies that reside within each and every single one of us. If you feel the need to project this onto a person that houses a greater percentage of those energies, whether it be masculine or feminine, be my guest. But this is always about balancing the energies within our own structures. Okay, so yes, so you can find me at the Navigator's Tarot on Facebook. If you would like a personal reading, you can find me at my website, which is sleepywisdom.com. And also I do live readings once a week at the Navigator's Tarot on Instagram. And I think that's it, yep. And I also try to upload these onto Instagram. Sometimes it can be very difficult because of where I live. And sometimes I do have to go into town because I live outside of town. Yeah, so anyway, we shall move on to the energies for this week for the Divine Masculine. Jumping out. Oh, okay. This is very interesting. The Divine Masculine in the past has been very, very focused on the 3D world and looking at how he can manifest himself in that 3D world. And it's taken quite a lot of strength for him to leave that behind. But now it would appear that with this card here, the 3D world is trying to tempt the masculine as much as it possibly can with those old world and the old structures that it's always been bound by and that he has always been bound by. However, he is now in a state of contemplation and is ignoring the temptation to follow the path of the demon, which happens to be that 3D matrix world. Yeah, so that's really interesting energy. It's taken quite a lot of strength to do that. Oh, and I would also say that it has been the recognition and also to the acceptance of his divine feminine that has now led him to this path. Yeah, so interesting. Also he's now beginning to work very, very steadily on how he can manifest himself into these newer earth energies. And he's taking a leap of faith. However, there is still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is still this propensity to sometimes deceive himself through ego. And sometimes the ego, of course, can be tempted very, very much by the old world structures, the 3D matrix world, and the demon that is housed in those energies. And so he needs the strength of his divine feminine to really pull him back and pull him in, and to sort of keep him on that straight and narrow path that he has now chosen to reside in. It's quite a battle for him at the moment, but I feel like, you know, this is like in his advice, and this is very much like, you know, it can also mean strategy, which I feel that, you know, even though that's a very 3D way of looking at things, I really feel like for the masculine, it is probably needed to move forward in these new earth energies. And, you know, he's really beginning to see where he now can rise into his divinity, and the divinity that is calling him through his divine feminine. energies. Yes, and the Queen of Pentacles, which is the Divine Feminine, who is independent, financially independent, emotionally independent, at peace with herself, and at peace with all that is. She resides very much in those, that she's very well balanced between the feminine and the masculine. And he's greatly influenced by her. So yeah, he is, we'll have another look at, we'll see what other cards we have when we see what we're going on with here. He is really starting to come into the energies of this. I think he's really starting to, it's like he's waking up to his own divinity and how he fits into these new earth structures. Once upon a time, he couldn't see it, could not understand the call from his spirit and from his soul. But and he you know, because he was so very caught up in that 3D matrix world and not able to understand exactly what was going on, and so actually saw his divinity through the eyes of something other than himself. So in the you know, like it could have been religion, it could have been a certain way of being, it could have been a certain perception, it could also have been the way he acted out in the world, you know, very mind oriented, not ever being able to come down into his feeling center. However, this has been by design for a number of, like a millennia, over a millennia, to keep the masculine away from his heart center, so that he could, to emasculate and weaken the masculine. Because the divine masculine is someone that is very, very in touch with his heart center, with his feeling center, and also too knows that he is there to support his feminine in whatever way, shape or form that feminine comes in. But of course, before he can project that onto a divine feminine, he must find his divine feminine from within. And the masculine is doing very well in accessing those feeling centers. So this says astral travel, caution needed. I would actually say to the masculine, be very careful too about going into the deception of mind and intellectualism. It is a trap that has been used for millennia by the darkness to keep the masculine in intellectual pursuits rather than emotional and healing pursuits, personal healing pursuits. But we also have these other beautiful cards here from the awakened spirit, a desire to change. So the masculine is really beginning to hear the call now from his own spirit and soul from within, and of course the ultimate divine masculine, which are the Christos energies that are abounding on the earth at this point in time. So at the moment he is starting to see that there is a new direction that he must take, that he is being called to take. But at the moment he's between worlds. He hasn't really quite accessed those divine energies just yet. They're coming through, but they're coming through as he is beginning to go within and find his own truth through his heart center. And he is looking for eternal union. First he must find the union within himself with his own divine feminine before he can even begin to access the divine feminine on an outer level. He cannot come into a divine relationship until he has come into his own union and divine relationship with himself. This is expansion, so he's really wanting to expand out into this new reality that he's found within himself. And this is saying to educate your mind and your senses. But I would say definitely through the heart center. Heart and mind must be co-joined and must be working together to provide the optimum divinity that needs to occur within the divine feminine. The hidden realms create conscious awareness. This is another thing too about the masculine. As the masculine starts to go within and really awaken to the senses that he did not even realize he had, into his solar plexus where his intuition lies, he will also, and the more healing he does, the more the clearer he becomes and the more clarity he gains. And so if the masculine is wanting to access any of those outer realms, like the galactic realms, the elemental realms, and beings that are a part of those realms, he must clear. He must clear himself of ego. He must clear himself of old hurts, old wounds. He must do the healing work. It is the only way to access any other realm that may abound within and without. And so, you know, a lot of the time the masculine will access these higher realms through ayahuasca, through DMT experiences, but the ultimate is always to heal from within and to find those centers through the heart center. And of course, the one thing that the masculine must remove is fear. And he is now beginning to do that. By divine will, he will let go of fear, and he must, if he wishes to remove ego from his life. Okay, so they're the energies of the divine masculine this week. Yeah, great stuff. Keep up the good work, masculine. Next year, you're going to be powering through. It's amazing stuff. We'll see you soon.